So, what if I told you that the two most powerful tools for handling life's biggest challenges, well, they aren't what you think. We're not talking about money or status or anything like that. Today, we're going to dive into a really profound piece of wisdom that points to something way deeper: the incredible power of silence and happiness. The core idea we're exploring makes this huge claim. There are two most powerful words in this world: silence and happiness. Just let that sink in for a second. In a world that's all about noise, achievement, and hustle, this wisdom says our greatest strengths are actually found in inner peace and joy. It's a pretty wild thought, isn't it?
But, that immediately brings up a big question. If silence and happiness are so powerful, why are they so ridiculously hard to master in our day-to-day lives? What makes these seemingly simple things so tough to get a handle on? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
Okay, so let's start with the first pillar of this powerful duo, Maun, which is this really deep concept of silence. And as you're about to see, this is about way more than just not talking. See, this idea of Maun goes so much further than just keeping your mouth shut. It's really pointing to a deeper state of inner peace, of self-control. It's about creating this thoughtful, deliberate pause, not just in what we say, but in that constant chatter that's always going on in our own heads. It's about finally calming all that internal noise. And let's be real, actually doing this is incredibly difficult. We all know that feeling, right? That instant urge to jump in during an argument, to defend yourself, or even just to feel an awkward silence. To resist that impulse, to choose a moment of quiet instead, wow, that takes some serious strength and discipline.
So why is getting a grip on this inner silence so important? Because, look, life is going to throw some huge challenges at us. We all face those overwhelming problems that just create a storm of stress and confusion in our minds, where finding a clear path forward feels almost impossible.
And that's where the real power of silence shows up. It's not about ignoring your problems, not at all. It's about creating the mental space you need to actually see through them. When you cultivate that inner quiet, you can filter out all the noise of panic and knee-jerk reactions, and that's when the way forward starts to become clear.
All right, so now we get to the second power, prasanata, or happiness. And if you thought achieving inner silence sounded like a challenge, well, this wisdom suggests that finding true, resilient happiness is an even bigger mountain to climb.
The distinction being made here is really key. While practicing silence is tough, maintaining a state of happiness is presented as an even greater challenge. And we're not just talking about those fleeting moments of joy. This is about cultivating a deep-seated happiness that requires a really profound level of emotional and mental discipline. And the context here is absolutely everything. The real test of this kind of happiness isn't when things are going great. It's about your ability to hold on to that inner state during what the Source calls a vikad parasthiti, a truly severe crisis. That's when its transformative power really gets unleashed.
This reveals a pretty amazing process. When you're faced with a crisis, making a conscious choice to tap into a state of happiness isn't about denial. It's actually a strategic move. That choice actively generates ujja, the vital energy and resilience you need to not just survive the crisis, but to actually overcome it.
So here we are with these two incredible tools. Silence gives you clarity, and happiness gives you energy. But just knowing about them, that's not enough. The final, and maybe the most important piece of this puzzle is about how we actually integrate them into who we are. It's all about assimilation.
So, a good way to think about it is like two sides of the same coin for getting through life. Silence is your tool for getting clear. It's that quiet space where you find the path through all the overwhelming stuff. And then happiness? That's your engine. It provides the energy and the grit to power through even the worst crises.
The ultimate call to action here is so simple but so profound. Assimilate these qualities. This is more than just a piece of advice. It's really an invitation to fundamentally change your inner world, to make these states of being so natural to you that they become your default response to whatever life throws your way.
Now, you might notice the source text ends with the phrase Radhe Radhe. Just for some context, this is a cultural and spiritual closing that's meant to evoke a feeling of love and peace, kind of like saying peace be with you. It's just a beautiful way to wrap things up, leaving us with a feeling of goodwill that fits perfectly with these ideas of inner silence and happiness.
And so, that leaves us with a question to take with us. Knowing that silence can bring clarity and happiness can bring energy, think about a challenge you're facing right now, big or small. When and how are you going to consciously choose to use these two incredible powers in your own life?